All right.
Let's see how quickly it'll go this time. It's been going pretty fast lately. Oh, already started. Hello, Carrie. Hi, everybody. Whoever's there. Good morning, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you're in. What's going on? I've got Neep. Neep from Twitter. We're going to talk some war shit and some North Korea shit and crazy Russian bombs, and he's going to educate.
If you do not know me, my name is Neeb. I'm from Hebron in Israel. And
No.
no, I'm not. I'm just a faggot Canadian.
How
Continue.
are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Trying to calm
I heard
people
you're
down.
drinking coffee.
I was. Now I'm drinking Coca-Cola.
Oh, don't drink Pepsi. Drink Coke. I
Oh,
only drink milk.
oh God. You freaking Nazi.
Super Nazi.
Yes. Super
Yeah.
Nazi.
Did you see that coming, or did you not see that coming?
Yes, I did.
Of course you did.
So
Yeah.
anyway, you and I ended up in this in a stream or a hangout last night, and you came in and brought up this. You were telling us what was going on with North Korea and stuff, and the things that you were telling me and talking about. It really piqued my interest. I mean, North Korea has always been. It always has been pretty damn interesting, but I've never really paid too much attention to it. So, um, I've heard you talk about it a few times, and then last night as well, and I just wanted to pick your brain on it a little bit more.
Well, I will get into it's really old news, but I'll do that when a few more people join because it's way more crazy than people think. North Korea is a savage area of the world. Um, but let's just start with like normal breaking news or whatever, like recent events.
Yeah.
So Trump, uh, I think the gas attack. I don't know if he believes that that's a real thing in Syria, but what he did do is he made lemonade out of whatever the fucking shit that was given to him, because he decided to just lob some tomahawks during his dinner with Xi Jinping of
Yeah.
China, and he said to him during his fucking dinner, he turned to him and he's like, I can't even do a good Trump. I just launched 59 tomahawks, right? Uh, and and he's just like, pardon me, and he gets the translator to say it again, and he's like, and then the translator repeats it, and then he's like, I'm okay with that. That seems fine. That's a savage move for them to use chemical weapons. I don't buy the chemical weapon story exactly as it is presented because we don't have enough evidence yet. But maybe Trump has more than we do. But we know that the White Helmets are Al Qaeda. That's for like there's been places that have been liberated from ISIS stronghold controlled areas or Al Nusra controlled areas, and on one wall you have like a white helmet logo where
Yeah.
they film. Yeah, and then you also literally white helmets literally in the room. And then on another wall, there's like Al Qaeda or Al Nusra. It's Jabhat al Nusra is what they used to be called. It's like they've kind of shot off a rebranding. I forget what it's called, but it's something else. Shannon.
And the white helmets, they're the ones that we always see that are going in and pulling people from the
Yep,
rubble and stuff like that, right?
that is correct.
Okay.
And they there was a documentary about them that won some, I don't know, Academy Award or whatever, an Oscar or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. I vaguely remember what's going on with that.
It's full fake. Like these guys are fighters in uh, Al Qaeda and their offshoot Al Nusra, and Al Nusra works closely with ISIS, even though they say that they don't. And I forget the new name they've rebranded. Whatever. Don't quote me on the very specific name, but one of the things that's really crazy is that, yeah, these are people that are fighters. There's pictures of them like with their jihadi beards beforehand, doing the Allahu Akbar, holding guns and being militants, and then they shave their beards because they need a PR firm who makes really slick videos. Oh, Al Hayat, which is the media arm of
Hmm.
ISIS. Yeah, pretty crazy how good the videos are. Also, the video that it was in question. This is getting like you don't have to call this a conspiracy theory. The video in question has the video that is the evidence for this chemical weapons attack has 12 edits, 12 cuts in it.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. If you are in a chemical attack trying to help civilians and you're like, we need to stop this from happening, you don't go, hey, okay, I'm just going to take a couple hours, go to Final Cut Pro, chop out some bits, no big deal. That's insane. It's totally crazy that happened, and it's totally crazy that this is being the narrative that's pushed. Do, would Assad do it? He would have a few years ago, probably, but Al Qaeda and ISIS have both already done this multiple times. So let's steamroll on. So
Okay, yeah. So
Trump,
it's a pretty crazy shit that does go on over in that area. I don't deny that whatsoever. And I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah. So Trump fires the tomahawks,
Yeah.
and that's a reactionary thing. And I think that what he did out of this, because he did it when he was literally having dinner with Xi Jinping, this is a strong geopolitical message saying, look, I react. I don't sit there and dilly dally. I didn't come out.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think this definitely was a moment for him to go, hey, look at this shit.
Yeah, it crushes the Russian narrative for domestic politics. It also, first of all, very specifically, Hillary Clinton said, Trump, you should attack an airbase. What did he do? He attacked an airbase. So this gets all the neocons on board. This is so it's either coincidentally all great in all the things that line up very nicely. I was pretty much against it right away, but that was a gut reaction. And then I started thinking about it. I think he's making fucking lemonade out of whatever shit sandwich he was handed out of this whole situation. And then now sends a carrier fleet, not steaming because we use nuclear because we're not retards like Russians. The Russians have one aircraft carrier. It is coal powered, so it's not literally
What?
steam, but it's pretty much steam, and it sucks balls. And it broke down recently and had to get towed out of around the UK. So that's funny.
Oh, God.
And on top of that,
So,
Russia also. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. So, um, Russia, Trump's obviously have been in some pretty, just some pretty shitty, they're trying to associate him with some pretty shitty stuff going on with Russia. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
I don't buy it.
I don't really think that, I don't think that this has anything to do with the Russia situation that Trump has been finding himself in. I think it is a show of force, for sure. But I don't think it's because he's trying to divert from the stigma that's being trying to be put on him when it comes to Russia.
No, but that just but because that's a narrative that is being pushed in the media,
Mm-hmm.
that's a bonus because literally I don't know the numbers exactly. I think it's like 16 people tops got killed in the Tomahawk strike
Yeah.
on the airbase, and so even if it's like 15 or 10 or whatever, the some of those
I
may
mean,
have been Russian.
do people actually think that we hit that spot right there on accident?
No, that was very specifically targeted.
Yeah,
And we
and
and America.
and
Sorry,
it didn't kill a lot of people. So I mean, it's obviously going, hey, we
well,
want your
no,
attention.
like
Look over here.
literally, the U.S. I keep saying we because America, fuck yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm an
know what.
American
Yeah, I know what you're talking
at
about when you
heart.
say that.
Yeah, America warned both the Russians and the Syrians evacuate the airbase. We're taking it out. Fuck off and do that or die. Those are the options. You got a couple options here: fuck off or die. And and so there were still some people on the base, and it's unclear the exact number, but I think it's like I said, I think it's 16 is the death toll, which is not that's not on America. If you warn people and say, "Yeah, the missiles are on the way," get out, and they don't,
Yeah, that's
not
fair.
our problem.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
totally fair.
totally fair. Yep. And so that is a power play, and during the Xi Jinping meeting, but then move forward now, and this gets really crazy. The the Moab that was used, right?
Hmm.
Uh, this is a super geopolitical statement of like, I don't give any fucks. My political strategy from the beginning, my campaign and everything was, we will fight ISIS wherever they are. ISIS is in Afghanistan. ISIS is in Libya. ISIS is in Nigeria in the form of Boko Haram. Not both groups, because they splintered into two groups, but they're provinces is the term that they use. It's the Arabic word for it. I can't think of it at the moment, but there's multiple provinces of the Islamic State, and Afghanistan has one, and they racked it up with a Moab, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" All the neocons are cheering, of course. I'm pumped. I'm like, dude, he promised this in his campaign. Love it. Totally going through. But very specifically, this tunnel network in the mountains is, according to WikiLeaks, was built for the Mujahideen in the 1980s as a proxy war with the Soviets. The CIA built them,
Hmm.
and CIA members and CIA assets like Osama bin Laden, hello, Tora Bora, was familiar with all of these tunnel networks during his escape from Afghanistan into Pakistan. It's crazy. It's a 1-2 uh, deep state. You got your fucking message sent. We know we're not cool with you. Eat a bag of dicks. We blew up your network, and the fact that you are building these networks for people, there's always blowback. I don't know how people don't see this. Yeah, you arm rebels. Guess what they do? They behead kids in Syria. You arm rebels. What do they do? They slam planes into your buildings. Fuck that. Nuke them all. So let the conversation begin, because now I'm looking at the chat. We got Taz, who's a faggot, by the way. We have Olav. Um, he's gay as fuck, but he's all right. He thinks I'm a retard, but it's cool.
No, it's all right. Okay,
Yeah.
um, so Trump was having a meeting with Jin, correct? Am I saying his name right? Jin
Xi
or Jingjing?
Jinping.
Okay, so he was talking to China, and then Crazy Fat Boy decided to say, "Hey, we're gonna do this." Or did they do a failed missile launch? What was the first thing that they did? It was like a week or 2 weeks ago. Something came.
Well, they
Something
did.
came
They,
about them, and then now all of a sudden, then they said that they were going to do this this nuclear test thing, and then that's when everybody was like, "Hold the fuck up."
well, the nuclear test has likely been planned for ages because they're in the West. We can just like detonate nukes, no problem. But
Hmm.
they're still understanding it, right? And they don't really have any modern technology, really, other than what they can sneak in. North Korea, first of all, this is pretty cool. Not pretty cool. This is pretty neat information, at least. North Korea's main export, other than coal to China, is counterfeit $100 American bills. They're called super notes, and they use their diplomatic immunity. So they send diplomats with bags full of counterfeit money or bags full of meth or heroin. And then they sell it on the black market, and then they bring back actual money. And that's how they largely fund a lot of their stuff.
Okay,
Because
I'm
there's
not.
sanctions on them, they can't really do anything.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
was fixing
and
to
they
say,
also
well, how did they
they
get this shit? Where does it come from? But they so it was some it's who which leader was it? Is his birthday or it's a celebration of his like 105th birthday or
yes,
something like that?
that's that's why yeah, it's the I don't know the what's the title. Anybody in chat can, well, we're gonna be fucking minutes behind, but so yes, the Kim Il Sung, which is the the grandfather of Kim Jong Il, and
And this is Kim Jong
he
Un.
Uh, what's drinking?
There's too many Kims. There's too many Kims in this family.
Yeah. Kim Jong Il is the current one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Kim Jong Un is his father, and then Kim Il Sung is his grandfather.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's the original? He's technically the head of state.
Yeah, I know. The
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So yeah, too many.
knockocracy. But
Yeah.
necropsy. What however the hell it
So
said.
yeah. So the date of the testing was very specifically planned as a show of force on the birthday of the head of state. This is exactly like long term planned out, but he chickened out because we're dealing with massive amounts of force that will just destroy the country. And I've talked about my plans very publicly about how we have to deal with this with the bombs. But there's also South Korea has not just one, but at least five scenarios that they will go in and assassinate the current head of state, not head of state, but the current
Yeah, the current
leader.
leader.
Yeah, and they are complicated and hard to pull off because the guy is super paranoid. They weren't that worried under the last regime, but we're talking about an inbred fat kid that doesn't know anything about geopolitics, and he is hyper paranoid. He's like artillery his own brothers and sisters, man.
Yeah,
He
I
doesn't give
seen that.
a fuck.
Who was it that he had shot with a military artillery just recently?
Anti-aircraft gun was his like his uncle,
Yeah,
top military advisor to his dad.
that is insane.
Mhm. And then recently, like recently, um, uh, this there was a group of three. I think it was three people. And this one chick ran up and threw a rag on his brother's face in I think in Indonesia at an airport, and the
Yeah,
rag
he
was
died,
full of
didn't he?
yeah, it's an assassination, and they're saying we don't. And what's funny is the chick's shirt said "lol." Chick
What?
who assassinated. Yeah, her like if you look at the security pictures, like from the security cams at the airport, uh, the shirt said "LOL."
So what was on the
It's
rag?
like,
Do
yeah,
they know yet?
poison of some kind. Definitely not something like badass like Vladimir Putin. For sure, it was Putin or under his command. Do you remember in I forget his name? There was a populist, good-looking, charismatic guy in
Yeah,
Ukraine
yeah,
running.
yeah, yeah. I remember. Didn't they injected him with something in the street, right?
No, it's no uh, an ex KGB operative. Uh, like welcomed him into his home for dinner and fed him like borscht with Agent Orange in it, and it totally destroyed his face and everything. He's super fucking gross now, but it didn't kill him. But yeah, it was definitely an assassination attempt that just didn't go quite as far as it should have. But
Which
yeah, no,
one?
he's
Which
all.
one was it that somebody stabbed him in the street or something with an umbrella or something like that? And this could be completely like conspiracy theory stuff that I've just picked up along the way. But
No. Well, first of all, America had plans to stab Castro with an umbrella, but yes, the KGB has successfully injected people with polonium and other non-nuclear or whatever non-radioactive agents via either umbrella stabbings or um, uh, a blade on a watch, walking by, just rubbing up against somebody, cutting their skin with poison on it. It's crazy.
yeah, that's insanely scary. And you know what happens? Jesus Christ, they're crazy as hell. Um,
Yep.
okay, so let's see. So North Korea, he killed the brother. That was his brother, right?
Uh, Yeah, his
That was
I think
killed
it's his half brother
that was assassinated in the airport.
by the lol. Yeah,
Okay.
for the lols.
Oh my God.
For the
Okay,
lols.
so um, when it comes to China, I know China has they do work with them, like they buy coal and stuff off of them. Um,
Yep.
so if let's say if it was to happen where we were able to just get him out of North Korea. Where would that leave? Where would that leave North Korea? Like, would it be absorbed into South Korea and it would just be like one Korean Republic, or would China? I mean, that's what I'm wondering.
Um, because of the long-standing history of, like we talked a little bit before about this, not on air. Um, there is a huge rivalry between the Korean people and the other ethnic groups that compose China, but China has successfully dominated by importing Han Chinese everywhere.
Hmm.
Like Hmong are like a minority in basically the south east and a little bit of the northeast, but um, this is a strategic thing that they have been doing for thousands of years. But I think they've hit a wall, and I think that yeah, South Korea would just open up access to, like, not just open up access. I mean, like literally just like take over North Korea, but have to have a bulwark of like we will build infrastructure and roads and everything that you guys need because you're dealing with, and this is true. This is really fucked up. Um, in South Korea, they have uh, people that escape North Korea and go to South Korea. The South Koreans hate them viscerally because, and they can spot them even though they're genetically basically exactly the same. You can't really tell each other apart, except for the fact they're so malnourished. Even if they're well fed now, they're on average a few inches shorter. I think it's 4 inches shorter, and they're uneducated. They don't know shit, so they're unemployable and they're just like a drain on society. So I think the best solution is probably South Korea builds a bulwark, but invests heavily into education for the kids and taking care of these poor, wretched, and I don't mean that in like a
No,
derogatory or mean
no,
way,
no. I
but
know what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah, they are.
these people that have been abused their entire lives. But all the kids, man, feed them. Uh, it's time to drop tons of aid. This is a place where I agree that foreign aid is good.
Yeah,
Shitholes, like for sure shitholes where nothing has been accomplished forever. I don't agree with foreign aid. All you're doing is just building more kids that are going to live in misery.
yeah.
That's
I agree.
crazy.
I totally agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
just
my
put.
foreign policy is very complex, but so where I wanted to go at the beginning, where I kind of wanted to hold off a little bit, is so this is in the 90s. I think it would have been filmed in about 93, something like that.
Hmm.
The Guardian, if I'm remembering this correctly, that's a long time ago. But it was the Guardian or like maybe the London Times. Uh, they made contact with a guy who escaped North Korea, and you have to understand, he went through the Chinese border. The Chinese shoot people on sight, and then also the Koreans, the North Koreans, shoot people that are fleeing because they're dissidents, right? So you're getting shot at from both sides of the DMZ, or whatever you want to call it. The Chinese border is not technically DMZ, but it's basically the same thing. And they, so this dude leaves, and he gets in contact with Western media, and he gets given a camera, and they're like, "Would you like to go back and document what you see?" He goes back. I think the number of times is four that he went back with batteries, camera, and tape, and then because they have no electricity, so batteries, camera, and tape. He goes in. He comes back. He swims through the river. They give him like a waterproof bag or whatever to carry his camera, and he goes back into China, meets up with Western media, hands over the tapes, gets new tapes and camera and whatever batteries, goes back, and he does this for I don't know months, and his final meetup he didn't make, but the one before that he's like, I think they're on to me. I think they know what I'm doing, uh, and it turns out that yeah, when parents die and leave orphans,
Hmm.
uh, people kill the kids and eat them
I know.
because there's no food. It's
Oh
fucking
God,
crazy.
it is.
It's super
It
insane.
is insane. I mean, or they push them into these hostels and then just hold them there. They're
Oh
called
well, and that's
called
just
orphanages, but they push them into these hostels and they're just trapped.
Yeah, well, that's like the state. I'm talking about citizens that are so starving that they're willing to murder an orphan because the kid has no hope anyway, right?
Yeah, just to survive.
Adults have no hope. Yeah, just to survive. It's so fucked. So
Unbelievable,
that was me.
unbelievable amount of just absolute suffering there. It's crazy. But like you said, I mean, it's just going to come down to education and stuff. And I mean, these people, the things that they're taught is it has nothing to do with what's actually going on the rest of the planet. And it's like, what do you do with those people that they are brainwashed? They are completely and thoroughly brainwashed. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
can bring in the propaganda and all that stuff to try and say, hey, look at this, but
I'm gonna, like I said, I very specifically stated this in one of the group chats. Um, this is gonna come off as racist, and I please don't
no, no,
misunderstand what I'm saying.
no.
Uh,
Take your time, talk, make yourself
yeah,
clear.
uh, very clearly, this population of people has, of course, education plays a role in IQ measurement, of course, but this group of people has an IQ that is very high. Asians, very specifically Southeast Asians,
Hmm.
Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, even Viets. Viets are poor, so they score lower, but not really that much. So you have multiple factors working here, but genetically, these people are fantastically smart, and they're hyper oppressed in North Korea.
Yeah,
So they're malnourished, so their IQ doesn't develop. Their brain size, their physical body size is very low compared to South Koreans. But they're basically the same, right?
yeah,
These people are definitely worthwhile. But then you go to like Pakistan, where they have been encouraged for hundreds of years to fuck their own family, and you
yeah.
get
The incest is
all sorts
insane.
of,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
like
It's not.
%,
It's not good.
Pakistan.
It's not a good thing. No, I definitely think that North Korea needs to be helped. It needs to. There needs to
North
be
Korea
there.
needs to be liberated
Yes,
more than
absolutely.
anywhere in the Middle East. Everywhere in the Middle East can fuck themselves because not only is their ideology poison, but they've been inbreeding for basically 1400 years. And there are genetic defects, they're hyper prone to violence. Um, these are all, not all, of course,
Yeah.
genetically linked stuff is highly tied
The
into
study, yeah, the
behavior.
studies are there. The studies are there, and anybody that has
Yep.
Google can go and look. And that's not racist to say that at all, because
No.
it has nothing to do with freaking race. That's just straight up minimal gene pool. It just
Yeah.
you're gonna get some fucked
And
up
there's
shit if you're fucking your cousins.
and there's also some really fucking crazy thing that happens. It's not even crazy, it's common sense. You have hyper intelligent people in any population, right? You get a good sample anywhere.
Yeah,
But the curve is different everywhere, but you get a good chunk of people, no, not a good chunk, a very small minority of people are hyper intelligent. You know what happens to those people if they live in a total shithole? They leave. Do you know what that means? Everyone else is retarded. When they when everyone else is like fucks off, everyone who fucking is still left there is probably the genetic baseline. It just goes down as
I
opposed to up because
I
we have
don't
global
disagree
south.
with you. That's why it's so hard to get in the United States because we don't want to take the shit.
Yeah,
We want to make sure that you have something to add to an already successful and very nice society and civilization. So
yeah,
we want the ones
and
that are going to
it's
fight to come in.
so that was part of the conversation, um,
Hmm.
and you were saying who's saying it's taboo. Well, Sam Harris thinks it's taboo, and I admire Sam Harris greatly. But yeah, it is taboo to say, are there IQ differences between different ethnic or racial groups? There are. On average, on aggregate, there's IQ differences between men and women.
Yeah,
And
sure.
women are broadly smarter in general in terms of most things, but men are way smarter in a very small minority at almost everything. But also, the biggest retards on the planet are men. By a long shot, our curve is way different than females. Females play the long game, take it cool. Make it smart.
Exactly.
Males are
Exactly.
like, I'm gonna take all the risks.
Fuck
Let
it!
me fucking
Berserker
jump into
mode!
the alligator
Berserker
pit.
mode! Kill
Yeah,
everybody! No, I
yeah,
get it. I get it.
yeah.
Well,
It's crazy. But what good comes of that? I don't know. But
there's a
shit,
few things that Sam Harris has said over probably the last 2 years that I don't agree with completely. And that's okay. It doesn't negate from any of the other things that he said that I do agree with um that are relevant to whatever the hell the conversation may be. But um there's differences, but I don't think that we should base our decision whether or not to liberate North Korea on the worth of their IQ. I mean, they're they've been a ridiculously oppressed people for an insanely, oh God, just it just seems like it's been going on for an eternity within that country. It just the amount of death just from starvation alone is just it's disgusting. But they they obviously don't adhere to an ideology which is toxic, religious wise, which would be Islam, like over in the Middle East. We know that that is a very toxic combination. So they're not ascribed to that. So we don't have to battle that to be able to help these people. And I can see the draw in helping them to further their civilization over there than over on the other side where we've tried and we've tried and we've tried and it just hasn't worked. So looks like it's going to take violence.
well, and even if we like, let's say we liberated, I don't know, like uh, the Muslim half of Sudan, right? Let's say we did that. Well, we're just enabling people that want to come and kill us. That's all we're doing. It's crazy. The North Koreans are at one level, they think America's terrible. But if liberated and given food, they don't have a deep ingrained idea that God's will is to just
Yeah.
murder and rape and pillage everyone that isn't like them.
Well
Muslims have
then,
that.
I
You
mean,
know,
well then,
there are only
how can we compare the two? I mean, because there's obvious differences within both mindsets. I mean, North Koreans they would have been indoctrinated by the state, which is obviously is shit, absolute shit, of course. And then you've got Islam, which it goes back, Jesus Christ, thousands of years. So
1400 ish.
okay, a thousand
Yep.
and a half, a thousand
Yep.
or
About there.
whichever.
Yeah.
Um, but so and we've yet, and I am not. We've seen that how easy it is to undo someone who's been indoctrinated into like the dictatorship type shit with like what's going on in North Korea. It is much more difficult to unwind the brainwashing whenever it comes to Islam. It just goes so much deeper. So it's like, how do you compare those two? And I'm not going to talk about genetics. I'm just going to talk about the mindset of the indoctrination. So, like you
Yep.
said, it's much easier. It's going to be much easier to rewire these people because all they need is food and a little bit of freedom and a little bit of exposure to Western culture. On the other hand, whenever you go into these Middle Eastern countries, we have exposed them to Western culture. They reject it. They say it's evil. They want to kill us for it. And we have gone in and said, "Hey, look, this is probably a better way," and they've seen it and they've rejected it. So it's like, okay, who do we pick? Who do we pick? I'm really glad that I'm talking to you because I haven't ever thought of it that way. You know,
Yeah. Well,
that line of thought has
so
it's never popped in my head. Huh, interesting.
we've we've seen what happens when we introduce Western culture into Asia, right? China, even though still the Chinese Communist Party and they do all sorts of shit, they're engaged in capitalism, and even though they're repressive or whatever, uh, look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong's the best example in that country, obviously, with the fucking uh, two systems, one government or whatever whatever the policy is called. Um, Hong Kong is super modern, super capitalist, whatever, totally works. And then China is basically just like a communist facade over top of a capitalist but regulated marketplace. And then if you look at Japan, yeah, we nuked Japan into oblivion, not literally, but we killed 150,000 people with
Yeah.
nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And that shattered them, obviously, but we're besties with them now, and they're sending assistance to Korea with our strike fleet that's there right now. That's awesome. So we can be besties with our very close ally, right? They've
Hmm.
been westernized to the maximum, dude. If you ever, I've never been to Japan. My brother lived there for a couple years, and he's like, it's crazy Western. Like it's so awesome, and it's so weird because it's like this weird view of Westernism,
Hmm.
like it's so hyper technological and stuff. But then look,
Japan is
so
fucking
my
weird, man. Japan is fucking weird.
yeah, I always say Japs are weird, man. Like not just the country, the people are super weird.
Just some
But
of the stuff that
my
comes out of there, just on the internet alone, is like, what the fuck? I see the effects
my
of the nuclear bombing is definitely there.
no my so my grandmother, um my grandpa basically fucked off and left my grandmother on my mom's side,
Hmm.
left her, and so she ended up shacking up with this dude Al. Al he fought in the Korean War, and he came back. He was a POW for 4 years. Well, I'm John McCain. Well, I don't think he said that ever, but so he was a POW for like 4 years, and the dude was pretty fucked up for sure. The Koreans were complete savages in the north, complete savages, and then in the south, they were still not great. But look at them now; they've figured it out. IQ, culture, and no major religious dogma to just really drill it home. It works. North Korea should be liberated, and I, of course, I was upset by the Syria strikes, like I said, but this is a legitimate but complicated thing to do.
Yeah.
North Korea is complicated, and I've been yelling about it for years, and like not even 10 years, it's like 15. I was screaming at my girlfriend one day, and she's like, "I don't know why you're yelling at me about this." And I'm like, "It's super crazy. You don't understand. These
Nobody
people
is
are super."
listening to me.
I know.
Okay,
Ah.
so um, you were talking about the different ethnicities that make up China or Japan.
China, the Nipponese, or the Japanese, the only people that live there are the Japanese. They only have, historically, not currently. They have words, obviously now, but before they only had like words for us and them. Basically, the Nipponese and the others, the outsiders, is effectively the only words that they had to describe other groups of people. They didn't give a fuck who you were. And then they were technologically modernized due to trade with Britain, etc. And then they obviously expanded not just their vocabulary, but then they decided to just go on a rampage during World War II. Not just during World War II. What made World War II happen was their just ravaging of Indochina. They, the number of women and girls that were raped by Japanese soldiers
Oh God, yeah.
pre World War II is crazy, and uh, the fire bombings and all that shit. Yeah, Japan was a different animal, and it took two nuclear weapons to set them right. And now they're fine. I mean, yeah, they make some pretty gross pornography now, but they still blur out all the vaginas. What the fuck is the point of that? Honestly.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's like, really?
Yeah,
That's what you're gonna that's what you're gonna
it's
censor?
like you're ramming a bat into a girl's pussy with your tiny Jap penis, and
No,
you're,
no. The
oh, we better blur out my penis and then blur out her vagina, but we're doing crazy things to her. She's putting eels up her pussy and stuff. That's
Yeah,
gross.
that's even their cartoon stuff that they do. Just not, I mean, just the anime, not even anything that's like animated. It's just like, what the fuck? What is going
Yeah,
on?
nah, that's weird. And there's a real big problem in Japan right now with birth rates, and don't open the floodgates to the Muslims, guys. It's all I gotta say, Japan. Um, let white Christians go there and don't adopt Christianity, but just let white dudes just run amok among your females. Marry them though. Don't. I'm talking trad stuff. Don't be a fucking slut. Not.
Isn't
Not.
it? Is it in China or is it in Japan right now? There's more females than there is males, or is it the other way? Or there's more males than there is females, and that's causing an
That's in
issue.
China, and that's due to the one-child policy,
Yeah.
which was ended. But now you have, and like just extrapolate the numbers here. We're talking like 1.5 billion people
Hmm.
uh, in China. So you're talking tens of millions of people that are single and they're males. Uh,
They're gonna get angry real quick.
oh yeah, they're sexless. So honestly, the solution has been um, funding prostitution in neighboring countries like Vietnam, so that there are babies born that they can bring to China. This is like legitimately an actual solution that is being worked on.
What?
I
Okay, tell me
Yeah,
what?
it's crazy. So um, pay hookers to not get abortions, and then hookers have babies, and if they're female, they're bringing them to China. And China is
Really?
funding this. This is all like real deep black kind of stuff. It's not talked about, but it's happening, and it makes sense. If people are already getting hookers anyways, you might as well get some babies out of it. If you have to pay the girl, to make a baby and bring it to term, uh, to repopulate the female population, because China's in a crunch because of the uh, what's the term I'm looking for? It's like it's a demographics fucking graph of like age groupings, and yeah, China's fucked totally. Japan's fucked worse because Japan has just a plummeting birth rate. There are dudes. It's not just dudes. And okay, I'm gonna get hyper controversial here.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go balls deep on this one.
Go ahead.
So feminism
Hmm.
in any form is a problem because the whole project of biology is to make babies, and
Yeah.
civilization is dependent on babies.
Yes.
And the project that feminism has brought, and this includes any westernizing country, including Japan, which isn't in the West, it's in the super far east, or it's in the west of California if you go that way, but it's definitely not us. But they have just been exposed to the same type of progression. Female work, go to work, get a job,
Yeah.
and now there are dudes, because of like effectively the same thing as affirmative action. Girls get better educated, they get more money, and girls only marry up. They don't or horizontal. They marry horizontal or up.
Hmm.
Males marry down, they marry horizontal, or they marry up. But girls don't marry down, so
Yeah.
that is almost negated. Basically, it's across the board almost negated. It's not entirely, but it does happen sometimes. But now we're dealing with a situation where all these girls are as educated as the men, and they have as good of a job as the men, and then the men have no value to the woman because there can't be a provider. And so now there are literally dudes that live at their parents' place until they die and they don't go outside. It's fucking terrible. And so here I go. Trad rant. Uh, Obviously, I've been a gross slut my entire life, but I understand how society works and what we need to do. All y'all young kids, not like children, but like
Yes.
if
Yes.
you're near teenage years, figure it out. Go to school. Women, get a husband. And dudes, knock a chick up and get stuck in it. It will feel shitty for a while, but you will have a long, happy life. If you have kids and provide for your family and be a dickhead and go to work way too much and feel a little bit shitty about working too much, but it will be better for you in the long run. It will be better for your wife in the long run, and it will be better for society for a very long run. Muslims are populating at retarded rates, like 9 kids per family in a lot of cases. We are making 1.4, I think, in Canada. Nope, that's not sustainable. We're fucked. And I
Well,
don't. And
when it
I'm
comes
not
to the
doing race stuff.
birth, yeah, but in my opinion, when it comes to the birth rates in like Western societies, it, it's pretty damn expensive to live the way that we do. So people do have less children. But I do
Do you
see,
know why that is?
but I do see where you're coming from with what you're saying. I do understand
Do you know why that is?
why.
Feminism. It doubled the workforce, the labor amount, right? Supply and demand. You double the amount of people that can work, you reduce the wages, period, across the board. Women shouldn't be working. No, I don't mean all women. I mean, generally, women should figure it out. Don't go into the labor force. That will reduce the labor supply, which will increase wages for the people that are in the labor force, which are mostly men in my ideal situation. And then they can afford to just have kids and raise kids and then have a wife. Yeah, get a part time job. Of course. We want you to have a social life outside of family life. Dads, take care of your kids. Uh, wife has a part-time job. Dad gets home, takes care of the kids for a bit, cooks a little bit of meal. Like it totally works normally, but the push for women to get into the workforce literally like dropped wages for everyone, including themselves. It's crazy.
Yeah,
The basic
I can see that. I can see that. Which I mean, I haven't looked into any of those numbers or anything. I mean, I'm just listening to you at this point, but it will be something that I check out a little bit further. But I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. I mean, it's healthier for society if we have functioning families within that
yeah.
society to keep things stable. I do. Yeah,
Uh,
I do understand that. But as a female, I can, and I know myself, it's few and far between. Um, I can I can I can balance myself within that kind of an atmosphere, being the wife, being the mother, but also being career oriented because I'm a makeup artist. But it I chose it the way that I did because I didn't want it to become my life. Because being a makeup artist, you could you can get into some pretty heavy schedules if you want to, even if you're just doing basic stuff like weddings or something like that. But that's not. I mean, I do enjoy doing that stuff, but I like doing special effects makeup. If you're gonna do special effects makeup, you're gonna be involved in like either movies or television or something along that nature. It's gonna be something that's gonna be a full time job. So I kind of dabble on both sides. So I do understand the need for your partner to be as present as possible in the household. But at the same time, it, you can't tell them. Oh God. Oh, this is so sticky. This is so sticky. Because I'm not a feminist, but at the same time, I don't want women to undercut themselves.
I don't either. I'm just saying that honestly, the numbers are clear. You have a happier life, both males and females, in a committed relationship. You get more, you get laid more, you get uh, just more close connection, which is really important for diffusing situations in the other areas of your life. This is all well documented, and it is also very important to make enough babies to replace us, at least that much. And I don't want
Okay.
to.
Well, I'm going to do
Yep.
devil's advocate here
Yep.
because I've been seeing a lot of this shit lately. So let's say you have someone like myself, and I want to be able to do my career or my hobby, my passion, whatever it may be, and make a little bit of money at the same time. But I also want to be in a relationship with a man in the traditional classical sense. Um, have you seen the pool of men right now that if I was single, what I would have to choose from? The
Do you,
ones that are thinkers that are going to be in my area of whom I'm going to be attracted to. People who can think, but also be strong within their own opinions, can stand on their own 2 feet, basically. You do not find that right now, like anywhere. You find these whiners who want to play video games all the time because they've just given up on women. So how do we fix you guys? How are you going to give us Where's the draw for women like myself? And I'm not talking about feminists. I'm not talking about these whiny bitches that want their asses kissed and get everything their way all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like somebody like me who does
No,
demand a
no,
little
I
bit of
agree.
a who does demand a little bit of a standard, but that they're just not out there to find. I mean, how do we fix that? How do we give
Well,
guys their testosterone and their fucking testicles back?
I'm just gonna need a little stamina here.
It's okay. Go
So
ahead.
this is a huge problem, and this goes back. This gets very deep
Mm-hmm.
in the vault here,
Oh,
because
I do blame feminism for this current situation as well. So
yes,
I do. Do
absolutely.
not mistake that.
I would, dude. I made out of like construction paper. I made a gun, and this was in like 1980 fucking 1984 possibly. I was a kid. I was in daycare. Daycare generation is exactly the problem. The welfare state, raising kids, bad idea. Family nuclear units give tax credits to people that raise families, not single moms. Don't incentivize that at all. Uh, I made a paper gun in daycare, and I got reprimanded and told that that is mean and it's bully. And this was before the Challenger fucking exploded. All right,
Yeah,
this is fucking crazy, dude. We need men. Men are awesome,
I
strong,
I agree. I
rugged,
completely agree. But
and
then
we are hard to
we
find now.
have to be careful to not let because it doesn't matter. It you're gonna
Do you think I'm a
women.
misogynist?
No, I do not. I absolutely do
You,
not. I do not. You're gonna run into the legit misogynist. That is going to
yeah,
happen.
they're called Muslims, and we
But
should just kick them out. But continue.
okay, but I do think that a little bit of sexism, a little bit of misogyny, a little bit of misandry is necessary in society.
Natural.
Just
It's
because if women get a little too carried away, then they turn into these savage Amazonian fucks that we're seeing right now that are shaving their heads and taking testosterone to grow facial hair and get bigger muscle tone and stuff and go, oh, I have muscle tone like a man now. I'm gonna beat your ass, and then they get their ass beat. So it's like, so you have that. So if you don't have the men that are okay with someone going, you're a sexist pig. If you don't have those men around that are gonna go, fuck you, bitch. So what? If you don't have those around, then the Amazons are going to take over. But then, if you don't have a little bit of the Amazons sprinkled in, then the misogynist pigs are going to take over. So there needs to be a fine balance, and I totally see that. So it's just like, how do you balance that? Because it without everybody's just going to have to suck their freaking feelings up, I suppose.
um, well, so here's my view on this whole issue is very specifically that we I'm not a white person specifically, but I'm white, right? I'm a mixed race Jew Indian, but
Okay,
I'm basically a white dude. I look white, my skin's white, uh, but whatever. My
Canadian.
Canadian, eh? Uh, hey, there we go. But no, very much specifically, we have as like Western civilization, as the West, we figured this out a long time ago. Chivalry wasn't dead. It only died after. Okay, so during the 1970s, and you can look up this. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. There's an ex-KGB agent who is like, yeah, we as in the USSR,
Yes.
and he's talking about this in like probably like 88, I think is probably when he defected. So around 90, he's talking about this. He's like, no, since the 70s, we've been pushing uh, cultural Marxism and feminism on the West, so they become basically wimpy men. And this is crazy and it's insane. But yeah, guess what we have now? We have dudes with pink hair and fucking
Glitter in their beards.
dildos just like dildos flapping around, being like, you guys are Nazis. It's like, fuck you, you fucking pussy. If it was legal to just hunt these people, I would just like stalk them and just bow hunt all these faggots. And I'm not, of course, I have no problem with gay people.
Okay,
I'm sucking off.
do you remember oh god, I guess it was probably early 2000s whenever metrosexual became a thing?
Yeah, I call them meteros. Never mind metro. I call them metero. It's
Whenever
closer to
that
Florida.
whenever that popped up, I was like,
Yep.
these boys smell better than I do. They don't
Get
smell. They
out of here.
don't. You do not smell like a guy. You smell like a
Yeah,
girl. You
if you
smell
don't
like a
smell like
girl.
basic, yeah, if you don't smell basically like like last time I went to this restaurant, like I asked for like no ice because last time I went there, the ice smelled like a butthole. And I'm like, if you don't smell like that as a dude, you can get the fuck out of here.
Oh
If you
my.
don't smell like a rugged, rusty man, you can fuck off.
Well, there's a difference between smelling like a man and
Oh, don't make it smell like a
smelling like you
butthole.
just rolled out of a warm dumpster. So let's not confuse those things. Wash your ass, guys. Please wash your ass.
Oh, dude, I wish I had a bidet. I'd be sitting on that thing all
Oh
day.
no toilet talk. No, not tonight. Okay, so the metrosexual thing, you could watch it, especially in the industry that I'm in. You could watch it just transform. And what's funny, whenever feminists go on and on and on about that the fashion industry just doesn't represent mainstream or average size women or whatever, of course it doesn't represent that. The fashion industry is ran, dominated, monopolized by gay men, period. So they're going to want to bring in the things that they like to
Gay
look
men,
at.
period.
Gay men. They run it.
Gay men, period. I
Gay
didn't
men.
think they had periods.
Yeah, yes.
I didn't think they had periods.
Oh, God, man. Are you kidding me? So, what you're looking at when you're looking at a model, you're looking at something that a gay man finds attractive. The long, lean body, barely any boobs, and I'm not talking about Victoria's Secret. Barely any boobs, anything like that. And I'm with the haute couture type of fashion. The super, like, remember Heroin Chic? With, like, Kate Moss? You had this really skinny cheekbones, super skinny. Well, AIDS fads and all that stuff was going on within the fashion industry at that time. So of course she's going to look like she's damn near dead. So whenever these feminists go on about she's too skinny or she doesn't look like I do or she doesn't, of course she doesn't. You just need to look at what is hanging on her body. If you like that, hey, there you go. Find something that's close to that style. But it's like these women cannot be that stupid to look at fashion models and think, yep, that's the normal. I should probably look like that too. No, most fashion models look weird as fuck. They either have really weird eyes that are sunken into their head or super close together, or they have oversized mouths, but it makes them exotic. It makes them unique, and that's what people like. They don't want to look at the same thing over and over and over
Well,
again.
well, did you know the reason why that I mostly date fashion models is because of their oversized mouth because my cock is so huge.
Dear God.
Just kidding, it's tiny. Everybody listening.
Oh my
I'm a liar.
God.
See, I
Uh,
do. I do comedy on the side a little bit.
is that what you're
Uh,
calling it? Is that what this
well,
is?
oh, being an asshole, I think is mostly what I call it. But
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, I'd say so. Okay, so god damn, man, we done went from North Korea to fucking feminism, huh?
Uh,
So
but no, I'm really like so this actually really does tie in. This is not a joke or whatever. So because the Soviets backed communist China for so long, and this disintegrated obviously at the the collapse of the USSR, Soviet Union. Um, this is all in the playbook of Marxism, and I will state this proudly and loudly. I have escaped the Marxist communism fucking clutch. Not just very recently, but just from about 10 years ago. I was like, fuck off. little bit of a socialist still. Ah, now I'm like, fuck you, completely. These dickheads. I grew up poor, poor as fuck, on the state, single mother. Now, uh, I'm not rich, but I own like 10 vehicles, so I'm not poor. And it's all through hard work and effort. And if you don't incentivize people to be poor, then everyone will strive to be better. So that's my total view on the whole project. I have drifted massively economically to the right. Socially, yes, of course. Retarded people or people with like no legs, of course, fund those people. Like, what are you talking about? That'd be so cruel. And of course, fund me when I was a kid, right? I grew
Yeah,
up in a home with a drug addict. That's it. Single mom, drug addict. She ended up killing herself. That's no big deal. It was a big deal for me, but
I'm so
it
sorry.
just no. I talk about it all the time. I throw it in there. It's like a grenade, just to funny, just to
No,
be
no,
hilarious.
still, it's still awful.
No, no, it was
Whether
definitely
you've
awful.
coped with it or not, it's still awful. So sorry.
No, it definitely was fucking awful. But it is. It's exactly like the ethos that I try to promote. Oh God, somebody's trying to text me repeatedly. Um,
It's okay. Go
the
ahead.
ethos that I try. No, the ethos that I try to promote is very specifically work hard and don't give up. That's it. Just do it. Just do it, Shia LaBeouf style.
Yeah.
And then get caught by 4chan 5 times in a row. Bam. Are you fully aware of the recent Shia LaBeouf tragedy?
No, what? I know they got his. I know they found his flag thing on that one flagpole. That's the last thing I heard. Like
Dude.
4chan found him or something.
Yeah, 4chan. They're on the fucking case. So
What?
they trolled him once in New York. He had to move it because they were drinking milk. Like, and then some chink like opened up a fucking pizza box and had like a swastika of fucking ingredients on it. It's like, lol, it's hilarious. But it's 4chan, man. We don't give a fuck. I'm not associating myself with 4chan. I've apparently, according to my knowledge, I've never been on that site. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But so that moved to Albuquerque. Then people were shooting guns right by it, and they're like, we're gonna close this down. And then so he put up the flag in the middle of nowhere, and then using I'm gonna say chemtrails because I always do, but it's contrails, of course. But then they looked at like radar logs and flight data. And they're like, we can triangulate this, and they're like looking at the star map, and they're like, okay, found it. And then they're like driving around, beep 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 beep. And then they heard it on the stream. They're like, okay, we're close. We know where it is. And they went and they put up the Pepe. And then he's like, gonna do it again.
Oh my god.
So there's so much autism going on here.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I'm getting so excited.
No,
So
I
then,
think it's hilarious.
he moves it, and he's like, nobody's gonna find this one,
Oh
right?
no.
Uh, and then there's this flag flapping at the wind, and then this bird flies by, and they're like, well, that's a gull. Do we have any ornithologists around here? Okay,
No fucking way. No way.
yep,
A
yeah, a gull
bird.
flew by. Yeah, a bird, and they're like, "Do we have any ornithologists? Tell me what kind of bird that is specifically." It's a seagull, so it's definitely from the timing and the light. It's got to be depending on the direction of the camera, right?
Oh
It's
my
got to be
god.
probably East Coast or Great Lakes, but it's getting a bit dark for there. And then within 24 hours, like it's in Liverpool. Actually, the sun is coming up there, not going down. At the time, or sorry, it's going down as opposed to coming up. So the camera was different direction, and then some guys snuck up on the roof and took that one down. They didn't take it down technically. They went up there and didn't have a fucking knife. What a bunch of retards! Of course you bring a knife. You gotta fucking cut the rope. Never mind the fucking zip ties. There was like 8 zip ties tying the rope to the pole, so they couldn't move it if anybody found it.
Do
So
you know
whatever.
who the world should be afraid of?
4chan.
Yes, absolutely.
Course, it's full of autistic retards. It's the best. Honestly, 4chan. Look, I've been greasing around the internet for a long time. I was on BBSs in the fucking early '90s. way before the internet was commercialized. I never thought that there would be. So there was an article posted a while ago. This was about actually the WikiLeaks dump, way before the John Podesta emails and the DNC leaks. But but it was insinuating that they were going to drop more, and there was an article written, I forget which publication, and it said something. I'm not going to get the wording right, of course, but it said something to the effect that, and they have Reddit and 4chan investigating, and I'm like, our
What?
top men, right? Like I was joking at the time, and then now I'm like, dude, this should be our intelligence agency because these guys are the best. These guys are super autistic and they don't give a fuck. They will find you, they will hunt you down, and they will get you. So Shia LaBeouf, he has pulled the flag project,
Hmm.
and he is doing a thing in. He didn't say where it was. It's in Finland, uh, along the Swedish border, very specifically. And he's like, nobody's gonna understand. I'm just gonna we're gonna do this project where we are isolated but alone together, and we talk because he will not divide us. And they're like live stream individual cabins, and nope, are found within 24 hours again by 4chan autists.
Oh
It's
my
so
god.
amazing.
So what
I
did
don't know
they
if
do? Did
anybody's
they do anything?
I don't know if anybody's actually traveled to there, but 4chan's reach is worldwide, man. And I have friends in Finland, and I'm trying to get them to go there. But I think he's probably bailed by this point. He's probably like, ah, fuck, like I'm defeated again. I got some friends, and I'm like, okay, guys, fly up there. Not even fly, just drive up there. It's no big deal. But I don't have any friends in Sweden that are close enough. But my Finland friends are kind of close. They're it's probably gonna be like 300 kilometers. So it's gonna take probably like 6 hours out of your day to take some pictures and go kick in the door and put a dick, draw a dick on his windows. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, Wendell just said that they took pictures in the cabin with MAGA hats on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Ah, that's awesome.
That
Because
that is
must be.
hilarious. I've never been on 4chan myself, but I've seen stuff that's come out of there. People drop stuff in chats and stuff all the time, and it's just like, what the fuck? Um, so I've only had like a teensy tiny little crumb of a taste of what 4chan is. I'm sure, but I mean, I'm scared of it. Some of the stuff that comes out of there is just scared. Reddit, I don't even think so. No, no, thank you.
Oh, Reddit's nothing. Reddit's for babies. 4chan, uh, go on 4chan, uh, the like the sub board or whatever, like /B is crazy. You're probably gonna get some weird child porn stuff
Uh,
randomly
no, no,
thrown in the
I'm
mix.
good. I'm
Nope.
good. Yeah.
No, yeah, not happy with that. But a ton of the shit that comes out of there is super funny. So you have to deal with the fucking good to deal with the bad, or bad with the good. Either way. But yeah, 4chan's awesome. Everybody has fucking wrenches. Y'all are niggas. I'm just like just passing through the chat here. Um, uh, Mithridate. What's your name?
Adam,
Or
that's Adam.
Adam.
Yeah,
Adam. Yeah. No, I forget. I think
it's
of this
okay.
all the time.
It's
Yeah.
all right. I'll pat you on the head. It's okay. Pat, pat, pat.
Yeah. /B is crazy, dude. It's 4 p.m. It's not even 4 p.m. It's 2 p.m. here, nigga. Um, Robert Como is a faggot, so it's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, /poll is where it all goes down. Like all the political stuff is in /poll, and it is admittedly there are probably a bunch of white supremacists in there, but a bunch of people also fake white supremacy as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
So kind of like just comes out in the wash. Comes out very white, basically.
I have enough.
Comes out.
I have enough to deal with Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. I'm good. I really am.
Ah, yeah.
I really, really am.
So, what else do you want to ask me about foreign policy or whatever?
Okay,
Let's
let's.
get back into real issues.
Yeah. Stop looking at the chat. They'll distract the fuck out of
Yeah, no, I'm not.
me. No, I'm just joking. Um, what was it last night? Something about it was something about Turkey and Russia, I think.
Uh, all right, Guppy. So Turkey is a problematic scenario because they are holding uh, at least, well, it's almost a million, but whatever, hundreds of thousands of migrants, and they are um, basically how this works is they're trying to hold the EU hostage and saying, "Hey, we have all these migrants we'll just let loose if you don't let us into the EU." But once they're in the EU, the migrants can roam freely. It's the
Hmm.
stupidest thing that they can use as leverage. It's like, hey, remember that time that I was going to send you dick pics? Um, you already have my dick pics, so that's cool. So give me access to talking to you about dick pics. I don't know. There's no analogy that is even remotely close. It's so crazy. But very specifically, Turkey and Russia. Um, so there was a pact. Does anybody want to fucking jump in on this one? There's a pact that was signed, an agreement, an international agreement signed about Turkey's waterways, and it shuts out Russia. And so when Turkey shot down a Russian plane, it was almost certainly, and you can probably find that on the channel that I linked to you very much recently, Caspian Report. All the listeners or watchers or whatever, my facial paralysis is really kicking in. I sound like a dickhead, not just my pronunciation. So there's a great channel called Caspian Report, and it's fantastic. And yes, there's a long brewing, basically Cold War with Russia, with Turkey. Turkey, being a NATO ally, just went balls deep and was like, "Yeah, so what we're going to do is this: goad you into war by shooting down a plane, so that we can get uh, better access to our own shipping lanes without Russian interference." And that's crazy, but it's true. And it's super insane that the the Russians were like, "Nope, we're not going to respond. You shot down one of our planes, but we are smarter than that because you're NATO, right?" But NATO, we shouldn't be supporting Turkey at all. Kick Turkey out, 100%.
Okay, I see, I see. So if Russia went after Turkey, then NATO would be like, "Oh, okay, sorry." They'd back
Uh,
that
NATO is obligated. The treaties of NATO are
hmm.
very specific. If you are attacked unprovoked, we are, as NATO allies, obligated to participate in offensive war against the perpetrators of an attack on one of the nation states.
Yes.
Yep. So
So
uh,
okay, okay.
Turkey.
Okay.
Um, so the Erdogan is a dickhead and he is an Islamist. He thinks, first of all, he tells people that, and this is not a joke, this is not hyperbole or whatever. This dickhead that runs Turkey, Erdogan, he told people that it wasn't Christopher Columbus or any of those people. It was Muslims that found America.
What the fuck?
Yep, he's a fucking crazy person, and the failed coup. I don't know if it was a failed coup. I think there might be more to this than that, but it appears that it was just a failed coup. Uh, and now he is going for power grab, power reach. He has detained more people, tens of thousands of intellectuals in the past, whatever. When did that happen? Like 8 months ago, something like that.
Maybe
I could be wrong.
about it's somewhere around a year, maybe a little less. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's just going balls deep, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's an Islamist, and he doesn't give any shits. And he buys oil from ISIS. He doesn't care. He. So my position geopolitically on this is that he is positioning himself so that even if Islamic State fails, which they are, of course, because they're going to fail,
Yeah.
but that he can pick up the slack and reignite the Ottoman Empire, which is the official last caliphate in
So
terms
that's
that
that's
ISIS
his
would
that's
never.
his end game then.
Yep, I think so.
Hmm.
I've been talking about this for like 2 years. I'm gonna do
I'm
the
trying.
hunter.
I'm just see. This is why I'm talking to you, and I talked to quite a few different people that are coming from more than just one angle, but because I'm just trying to pull in as much information as I can, because I want to make sure that I understand all of the intricacies that's going on with that entire situation, because it's insane. Like, it is absolutely insane, and I just haven't really paid enough attention to it. And but now I am, so I want to get as many opinions and as much information about it as I can. So I don't know if you're right. I don't know if you're wrong. I'm definitely listening to you, and it's sparking some pretty interesting conversations from what I can see so far. But um, he just seemed it's like what's actually going to happen, be able to happen if an empire is reignited. I mean, they're all they're going to do is just try to spread out because people who want
Well,
to.
so large, I don't even want to say long term. This is very short term in terms of like what has happened recently. So petrochemical dollars
Hmm.
that we send to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I want to use all the terms correctly here without being a dickhead. So KSA gets money. Did they have money in the 20s? Yeah, they had money. Were they rich? Nope. Um, then the nationalization of oil happens, and then America and everyone else just has way too many cars. So about 1965, I would say, we become heavily dependent on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia gets all this money just dumped into their economy. Saudi Arabia happens to be Wahhabi Islam, but
Hmm.
it's not much different than Salafist Islam. And so now we're just dealing with like, how much money do we give these people to build mosques everywhere? Well, the answer should be zero, but it's not. And so if you look at like the number of offensive jihad attacks, yeah, it almost zeroed out at about 1915, right after, not even right after World War One, but like right after um, the initiation of World War One. And so 1914, World War One happens. Jihad attacks were crazy amounts of every war economy everywhere all the time for 1400 years.
Yeah.
That's true. And then it stops. It doesn't really stop, but it's just massively just beaten into the ground. And in Islam, there is a doctrine that's like victory only comes through Allah, right?
Yeah.
Only through Him is victory able. And then so that happens. World War One, they hitch their horse to the wrong wagon, and then that all goes to shit. And so they're poor. West is building nuclear weapons. It's that like we are way more advanced in terms of the West, in terms of technology, etc. We can build tanks, etc. They can't. They're basically retarded. Not the people specifically, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
culture. It's
Yeah.
just not. They're literally decades and decades behind, and then so they can't do anything. Saudi Arabia is just pushing out propaganda after the massive uptick in oil use. Much money, they're building mosques. They're building printing presses and pumping out Qurans and Hadith, and that is true. And fuck off, Stephen. Eat a bag of dicks, you gay faggot. I'm
Who
just
are
showing my
you
cat.
talking to?
My cat. He's cool.
Your cat?
He's black. Yeah, he's cat. He's black. Fuck off.
Your poor cat.
Ah, I love him. Yeah, dude, I spend hundreds of dollars on him a month for this fucking stupid medication. Uh, but so we're talking like late '60s is
Hmm.
when Saudi Arabia is just balling, like full of money, and they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna spread Islam. That is a huge problematic time frame because the people that are alive now don't realize that this is the whole project. And when I say that, I don't mean that like in some sort of like hipster or faggot way or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean literally. So the date system, like the calendar of Islam, is it's a lunar calendar, and it doesn't start when Muhammad was born. It doesn't start when Muhammad died. It didn't start when Muhammad had his first revelation. It's when he did hijrah, which is Islamic migration. So Muhammad migrated. He took over because he got more Muslim soldiers, and then he killed everyone that took him in after exiling most of them. That's exactly what Europe is facing. It's not a bug. This is the project. This is the whole point of Islam is to migrate, take over, rape and kill everyone in your path, and then take all their kids as sex slaves. It's fucking disgusting, and
Yeah, yeah.
it is so crazy. Like, but it's like, nah, I know a nice Muslim. Yeah, no, there's 4 types of lying in Islam. Fuck off, Stephen, you retard. Yeah, he's clawing my dick. What am I supposed to do?
They,
So, any more questions, very specifically, before I go way off on too many tangents?
no, you're fine. Let me see.
What's that? Thanks, bud.
No, you just gave me a whole lot of information. I'm rolling back through it for a moment. Oh, if there's anybody in the chat that wants to come in and talk too, let me know. I'll bring you in. Anybody else has anything else to add to this?
Unless you're a cuck, then fuck off.
No,
But
no, that doesn't
that's,
happen. No.
ah, dude, I was just
Um.
looking at some gay porn. It turns out dudes have dicks.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yep, I'm quite sure of that. I've been examining it for years, and I just figured this out.
Unless they're trans trenders, then that's just a chick.
The Transformers,
Yeah, that's just a chick wishing she had a dick.
more than meets the eye. Well, I don't know. When meat hits your eye, it's pretty crazy.
God, you're cheesy.
I know.
That's unbelievably
Yeah.
cheesy.
When have I ever argued otherwise? Never. But I would like to say to all, if whatever, everyone who ever watches this in the future, if you're like a millennial or what's the next one? What's like the young kids, the hippity hop,
Oh,
whatever.
the hipsters.
Yeah, no. Fuck those guys. Take your mustache and like choke on another dude's dick with it because your guys are faggots. But I mean, literally, like, what's the younger generation than like
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
generation?
the millennials. Yeah.
Yeah, like Generation Z or Q or LGBTQI or P or whatever. Pedophiles probably, but uh, you have to understand we are in a culture war for real, and you can't be pussies. Don't be pussies. If you're pussies, you. So this is a true story. This is like last year I went to um, meet with a bunch of my family. Some of my family is from England, and my England friend, dude, I don't know what you call him. It's like it's not technically my uncle. It's something close, like first uncle once removed, something like that. But
Yeah.
he goes, he's like super Remainer, and I'm like, well, what are the arguments for remain? And he goes, well, a few £1,000 a month or a few £1,000 a year. And I'm like, and I turned to his two young, beautiful teenage daughters and I said, look, what is a few £1,000 a year when you, as his daughters, are getting raped by Muslim migrants? And the fucking whole situation was like, everyone is like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? And I'm like, yep, I don't care. They are animals and they want to rape you. So your dad is wrong. Brexit is good, and I'm happy to be on the side of protecting you from rape. And they're like, well, you sound more reasonable than my dad. And I'm like, exactly.
And that's sad, isn't it?
That's sad. Yeah, it
Yeah,
really is. Yeah,
that's sad. That
I
you
know.
sounded more reasonable, and you just said some absolutely ridiculous thing. That
Yeah,
why did you
very
have to? Why
offensive.
did you have to say that?
Very offensive, of course. But I don't really back down
No,
when it comes
no,
to
you're forced to say that kind of stuff because people refuse to go. Oh, this is probably a problem.
No, he's like, we might lose, a couple £1,000 a year. I'm like, yeah, it's going to get a couple thousand. I didn't say this, but this was going to joke because I just thought of this on the fly. You know what's going to get a couple £1,000 a month? Your
Hmm.
daughters when they're being raped by Muslims.
Oh
Bam,
God,
pounding.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course I was going to go there. Of course I was going to make that joke. At no point would I ever not be a dickhead.
You're not as big of a dickhead as you try to make out.
Everybody, I'm the world's biggest dickhead. Tremendous dickhead.
No, no, no.
Big league
You're
dickhead.
actually pretty damn smart. You really are, because I've been
No,
sitting here googling and stuff, and while you've been talking to me, so you are
oh,
pretty
really?
damn.
Am I a smart person? Doesn't
Wendell.
she track the from Wendell is a fucking lunatic. If I ever met that dude, what is he from fucking Norway or fucking I think he's from Norway or Denmark or something like that. Some
Mm.
faggot place where faggots rule.
He's a he's a hurdy gurdy. Are you kidding me right now?
I was trying to do a double wipe classic, but I basically shit my pants instead of farted. So,
Fantastic.
yeah. No, so do you have any other foreign policy questions?
um,
I really go. I want to go balls deep.
on from. Can you interact with the chat for just a second so I can go run and get some more coffee? I'm more than willing to sit here and pick your brain about this stuff. It fascinates me, but I need to get some more coffee.
Yeah, I gotta go. Chat. I don't know what the fuck it is. First of all, it's gay as fuck that YouTube is now putting the number of fucking videos you haven't watched in your stream as the main thing, because 75D. I don't know what that means, right? I just want to know the fucking title of the fucking thing. All right.
Okay.
So,
All right. Sit there and ramble for a second. Don't be too vile. I'll be right back.
uh, on the road, Johnny Davidson. All right. Ani's here.
Oh my
Kunisher's here. Kun, fuck off. Oh, drunk Irishman. That's good. That's a good start. But oh, oh, on the road is probably my favorite in terms of like comedic value. Wendell is a fucking maniac. I don't even know. Wendell, how old are you? You retard. Oh, Michael's here as well. He doesn't have a wrench though. You pussy. Talk about costumes. Okay, Aoni. Aoni. I believe that I am into costumes, sex-wise, but it doesn't mean that I always wear them.
Listen to that. Make sure he's not
It's
burning.
just super delayed, so it's super fucking gay. But yeah, no, I sound exactly like how I sound, and I say racist shit all the time. I'm not a racist, of course. course, I'm not. uh yeah, I don't know what to say. Um, I was gonna go really deep into geopolitics on this, but I keep getting sidetracked because I've been drinking. Of course, I have been. I'm trying to calm down my drinking for real, like legitimately. I'm trying to calm down my drinking, but you know how it goes. Uh, you live in the middle of nowhere, you have way too much money, and then you're just like, might as well drink it. Convert dollar bills into vodka, for sure. So, oh, I'm gonna tell a good joke. It's a good joke that I know. Uh, all right. So this dude, he goes into this whorehouse and he's like, "Hey, what can I get for $5?" And I'm like, "Well, nothing." And he's like, "Oh, come on, you got to give me something." And then uh, the hostess or whatever, she's like, well, okay, yeah, you can leave." He's like, "No, no, $5, man, $5." He's like, "All right, okay." So she goes, "Okay, well, we can go. We gotta go upstairs. We go to the third floor." And then he's like, "Okay, sweet." And then he goes in his room, and there's just like uh, a chicken. And then she's like, "What?" And then they're like, "Well," the girl's like, "Yeah, you can fuck this chicken."
Oh
And
my
then
god.
he's like, "No, nope, not doing it." He's like, and then she's like, "Well, that's for $5. What do you get?" Well, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna fuck a chicken." And then so he fucks his chicken, and then he comes back the next day, and he's like, "Oh man, and I need to get laid again." And then they're like, nope. How much money you got?" And he's like, "I got $10." Well, the price is upped, but it's fine. And then Cena left fucking chicken. So uh, Goblin,
Jesus,
fuck you.
David, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. Uh, so this guy, he's like, all right, who's on live leak? Jesus Christ. Oh man. So, anyways, I'm gonna ignore chat for sure, so I can finish this joke correctly without laughing. So he comes back the next day and he's like, "All right, here's what I want to do. You want to fuck someone else? I have double the money." And they're like, "Well, price went up, so no big deal." And then he's like, "Well, what can I get for $10?" And they're like, pretty much nothing." And then he's like, "Oh man, seriously?" So then uh, they're like, "Well, we got something for you." "Oh, what's that?" And then he goes upstairs, and they're looking through a hole in the floor, and there's a dude pounding some girl, and then he's like, "Oh man, that's pretty fucking awesome." He's like, starts to touch himself, and he looks over the next guy next to him, and the guy goes, "Oh man, it's super hot, but man, you should have seen it yesterday. This dude fucked a chicken." The same dude.
Yes.
The whole point.
Yes, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. My uncle
I
Rob
leave you for 2 minutes, and this is what happens.
My uncle Rob told me some crazy jokes when I was a kid. One of my favorite jokes that he told me, and like when I said I was a kid, I was like 5, right? He told me this joke. He goes, uh, so there's like this blind dude and this alligator that like is his like whatever spirit animal, whatever.
Mhm.
Not, it's not the right word, but his fucking surface animal. So they like in Florida, because you're from Florida.
Yeah.
This is why I'm remembering this. But so he like goes to this bar and they're like, "Okay, yeah, so it's cool." And he's like, "All right, um, do you guys serve niggers here?" And the bartender's like, "What?" And he's like, "Do you serve niggers?" He's like, "Well, why wouldn't we?" He's like, "All right, well, I'll take a nigger from my alligator, but I'll have a white Russian."
Oh my god.
As a 5-year-old, That's a little bit racist, apparently. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah,
I assume it is.
yeah, I'd say so. Too far, sir. Too far. Jesus Christ.
Not really. Not really. I'm not racist at all. Half my family's black.
That was 5-year-old you anyway, so it's okay.
Not the good half, but that's true.
Anecdotal joke. That's fine.
Yep, 100%. Continue.
Okay.
All right. So geopolitic questions.
Yes. All right. So I've heard you mention KGB quite a few times. So do you think that
Yes.
that's still a thing in Russia?
Well, it's called the FSB now, but yes, it is very influential in their politics
Hmm.
for sure.
Like for what? Like what do they have their hands in? Like what do they do? Are they evil like KGB or?
It's more complicated now because we have so many defectors of the KGB that the FSB is like beholden to the stereotypes of the FSB. But if you want to give me a very specific question, I could either answer it or I'll tell you I don't know.
Okay.
If I don't know,
Let me see.
yep.
Let me see. Let me see. Um. Are they a part of the government or are they some sort of separate organization? Like where do they come from? Who employs
Oh,
these people?
FSB is literally the federal fucking security bureau. If you translate it in English, it's not. That's not how they say it, but
Hmm.
that's literally what it
So
translates to.
what compare them to something that the U.S. has?
Um, CIA, NRO, and NSA, and probably a little bit of FBI,
So like
all together.
intelligence type things.
Hyper intelligence, yeah.
Okay. Um. All right. So when it comes to the Russia Turkey thing, where do you see that going? Like just
Uh,
like right in within the last 2 years and maybe going. Let's say where do we see that going since they were attacked
mm,
and all of that stuff? You think Russia's going to
uh,
try to take them out? Do you think the U.S. should get involved with that or what?
no, and the reason why I think this very specifically is because see how easy like just like dial back into normal reality as opposed to gross jokes. The reason why I think this is actually like my position is very specifically, I don't think they're going to retaliate over anything, and the reason for this is very specifically geopolitically is because uh, Russia is working with Assad, obviously,
Yeah.
and as a client state, uh, or as a client state, Iran has a client state which is called Syria, and Russia is working there now. The reason why I think this is all fucking
So
retarded,
a proxy war, maybe?
it's a multi-layer proxy war for sure, but where I think this all goes off the tracks in terms of like laws is the fact that Turkey is a NATO ally that claims to be fighting groups like ISIS. What they are actually doing is actively supporting groups like ISIS. So this is tension, but they are a NATO ally, and
And
NATO.
Russia is not an ISIS fan. So,
No, Russia's been wrecking ISIS like
hmm.
crazy. Look, if you can just Google it or whatever,
I'm
but
just all I'm doing. I'm just connecting the dots,
Allah,
like
Allah,
just
Allah,
out
Allah, I'm
loud,
doing what?
out loud. Oh,
Allah, Allahu Akbar. Sorry.
oh God, don't do that. That makes me. Oh, it makes me
No,
nauseous.
no. Very specifically, Turkey is aiding ISIS.
Yeah,
That's not hyperbole.
yeah, because
It's
they're
not
they're putting
jokes.
money in buying oil and stuff from them.
And the white helmets, that's Al Qaeda
Hmm.
for sure. It's not even close to even remotely speculative. This is true, and it is super fucked up. And America Trump, get your shit together and understand that you are being played. This is garbage. I've been watching this unfold for the whole time. Yes. Is Al Qaeda bad? Of course. Is Assad bad? Of course. But is he doing gas attacks when he's winning? And it just because the Russians, dude, just Google like Russian phosphorus attack Syria. Russians are just wrecking whole cities. They don't give any fucks. They don't care. They're not like, oh, what will our population think? They don't
So
give
you're
a fuck.
so you're saying that Russia is gassing Syrian?
No, but they're doing like phosphorus attacks for sure, and other incendiaries. Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, and
I
it
don't
just
know what phosphorus attacks are. Tell me what that is.
it's like burning people alive,
Holy shit.
like but from the sky. Like the type of attacks that these are not individual, like not like the Jordanian pilot getting burned in a cage or whatever,
Hmm.
but these are just the type of attacks these are. White phosphorus is I don't know. Anyone can give me without me having to look it up. What is the temperature scale? It's probably like I don't
Oh,
know,
is
but
it? It's something that burns really hot.
so hot that it's white.
Okay.
Because yellow flame is colder than a orange flame, and then
Yeah, I know
another
the blue and
flame.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep, yep. This is white, and it is crazy. And it's garbage, but Russia doesn't give a fuck. They're just like, I don't care. You can eat a bag of dicks, and they do it. And I'm not a Russiophile, and I'm not a Russiophobe. I
Okay,
think we
so
can
it's
work with Russia.
white phosphorus munitions.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that before, like some of the YouTube videos and stuff. You see bombings and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
looks like
why
a
on earth?
jellyfish.
Why on earth would the the nation state of Syria have to use chemical weapons that are banned by the Geneva Convention and the chemical weapons ban of 66? So I'm gonna probably get that wrong. Just just look it up. Don't quote me on that. But definitely against Geneva Conventions. But um, phosphorus isn't. Phosphorus is not illegal.
Hmm.
So why on earth, when you have the second largest military on the world on your side, why would you go ahead and poke the bear? And no, Assad is not a good boy. He's a dickhead, and he has slaughtered thousands. I would say 100,000. I don't know if that's true, but tens of thousands for sure of people, for sure. He's a dickhead.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page on this.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah, I know.
very coon. Wendell is a faggot.
Hmm. Okay, I didn't know that's what this was called. See, learning stuff. You're teaching me a few things. Pretty cool. It says it burns to the bone.
Oh, it doesn't just burn to the bone.
Jesus.
Burns for, yeah. It's savage.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling down. I'm trying to find a
There are
temperature.
other incendiaries that aren't technically in the same category because there's a napalm ban. You can't use napalm.
Hmm.
So one of the loopholes that were used by both Russia and the United States were white phosphorus as well as a probably another dozen chemical. They're not chemical weapons in terms of the type of attack or whatever. This is an attack, but absolutely not the same. But incendiaries that are gross and destroy not just lives, but really fucking wreck human beings. And yep.
Okay, I'm just sitting here reading how this works, like the molecular stuff. Jesus.
Well, it heats your body up to fucking whatever stupid temperature.
Yeah, it reacts. It reacts with water. Like that's what causes the reaction is when it comes into contact with water, and then it it turns into it is an acid. Jesus fucking Christ, this is wicked.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I So a friend of mine, this is pretty fucked up.
So it's
When
a
we were
vapor
kids,
pressure. It's a vapor pressure. So that's where the power comes from. That's where the force comes from. Holy Jesus.
oh, are you saying that white phosphorus has power? Are you saying that white power exists?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so the burning,
Okay.
it's so it says one reason why this occurs tendency of the element to stick to the skin.
Yep.
Oh,
So
jeez.
napalm, the reason why napalm was banned is because it sticks and then still is on fire, right? And
These,
that's
yeah, okay, this is what it's saying. It says
why
these
this is.
weapons are particularly dangerous to exposed people because white phosphorus continues to burn unless deprived of oxygen until it is completely consumed. In some cases,
Yeah,
burns are limited to areas of exposed skin because the smaller WP particles do not burn completely through personal clothing
they're
before
called white power particles,
being
but can you?
consumed. No, it says WP.
Yeah, white power. I get it.
No, shut up. Jesus, that's burning. You could be used burning, smoke inhalation, oral ingestion, fume inhalation.
Yep. And dude, Russia has been going fucking crazy, and this is all legal.
Hmm.
There's no reason why Syria would ever think, hey, you know what we need to do? Uh, Even though Russian allies are doing totally legal airstrikes on everyone all the time with white power particles or whatever, oh, we should violate international law and then goad America into a fight because that will end my regime and end everything. This is crazy. This notion that this is what's happening is fucking insane because as everything that you've looked up that I've ever told you, none of it has been false. And this is mainstream sources. Every time I say something, have you looked it up mainstream?
Hmm.
Yep, I've
Yeah,
never lied.
yeah.
I,
You're
I
right because I've been sitting here searching every time that you just put in a keyword in Google and it'll pretty much take you right there, and it's all pretty much mainstream.
Yep, and I'm not
Um,
a dickhead, but I'm correct on this. This is a terrible problem. We are being sold lies, and I hope that we don't keep getting sold lies. But I'm for the strike on, and it has to be very specific in the way over the years that I've studied North Korea. Very specifically, it has to be very clearly one way, and if it's not, don't do it because you're going to wreck the world economy. You're going to kill millions of people in South Korea, and
so
I don't
what?
want that.
Okay, so what do you think should happen with North Korea? Like you said, there's a
Uh,
specific way to do it. Like what should in just
well,
in your opinion, what do you think?
uh, my optimum is exactly what I think is underway, possibly right now
Hmm.
with the B2s. B2 drop uh, normal ordnance JDAMs, 2,000 pound JDAMs on all of the artillery, but you need at least 8. But I would say 16. You might as well double it up so you can just drop enough ordnance undetected at the same time, wreck it, and then China, which we should be working with very closely, can nuke the nuclear facility in North Korea and all their missile test silos. That's true. So
Okay, so just
it's a complicated plan.
just disarm them basically.
Uh, well, disarm them and then take out their nuclear facilities, and then on top of that, we need to impose. Like I said, we're talking like IQ stuff, whatever. These are smart people or at least genetically they're going to be propensitively smart, but they're malnourished and stuff. So I say,
Yeah, they're just suffering from a dictator. They're not suffering from an ideology.
right? No, they do have an
I
ideology,
know that, but not in the same way as
but
like
it's
what.
it's not the same. Yeah,
No, definitely not.
Marino, you fucking I don't know, you Spaniard, you Gaylord. Um, just picking fights people for no reason. Hey. Faggot, I'll fight you. Fight me in real life, faggot.
The Apaches are the big helicopters that have the crazy guns on them, right? That
They're
like the
called the
videos you see on YouTube, it looks like they call it Hellfire, I think.
well, first of all the drones also like the Predator drones have Hellfires, but yeah, Hellfire is missile that is aboard the AH-64 Apache. Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
I'm a,
those
I'm an
big
aviation nerd and a helicopter nerd.
really.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you realize that I'm a nerd?
Yeah, you're definitely a nerd for sure. For sure.
The
I can tell.
Cobras are funny.
I can tell you like to read.
So I'm gonna state this publicly. I was wrong earlier. I was like, I think the top speed of an Apache helicopter is 183 miles per hour.
Hmm.
It's actually not. I don't recall the direct number right now. Everybody can Google it, but I was incorrect, and I stated that at some point where I thought that was the correct speed of the Apache, and I was wrong. So it's a little faster, but yeah. Uh,
So, is that something that you do, or are you just interested in it? Like you just think they're cool?
I can actually fly a helicopter. I don't have a
Really?
helicopter license, but I can fly planes. Yeah, I'm a fucking balls deep, son. I used to do touch and goes when I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can fly a plane for sure, easy. Helicopter's a little harder. Helicopter's way harder, by the way. Anybody who flies a helicopter, bananas.
Yeah, anybody that flies, period. Props to you.
Yeah,
That
I can literally, with no jokes, I can fly both a helicopter and a plane, but I have no license for either.
well, why don't you get your license and then you can do it legitimate, like legally?
Well, it's super expensive. You have to have like tons of hours. You have to keep up hours every year. But
Oh,
I have actually flown. I've actually taken off and landed a helicopter successfully more than one time. And planes, no big deal.
that's the hardest part is taking off and landing, right, with a helicopter.
Uh, Landing, I think, is the hardest part. Just taking off is pretty easy. You just fucking go for it. But landing, it's gonna smash people into the ground. And a Hokum is faster. Hokum is a good helicopter. Machino.
Why do you say that? Do you need to clear your throat?
Machino. No, you want to hear me talk like Israeli? I can do
Oh my god.
it. Yeah, my French is also, but no, Merino. I don't know how do Spaniards think. The Milme 24 Hind. That's actually my favorite helicopter in the entire world. Really? But Apache is way better technologically. But that dude from Bulgaria that just bought a fucking Milme 24 Hind, and he just like, what is his nickname? The Migrant Hunter. Jesus Christ. He's like flying attack helicopters. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do with these migrants? Yeah, gun them down with a fucking.
Jesus
Do you,
Christ.
have you seen the movie Rambo 3? I think it was 3. Where's the one where he does the Milme Hind?
I don't know.
Magpie. Fucking tell me. Anyways, one of the movies of Rambo where he's in Russia and then he gets like shot through the thing and he cauterizes his own wound.
Dude, I'm a girl. I'm a total girl.
Nah. Well, Marino is pretty much Spanish, isn't it? What kind of
No.
name is Marino?
Italian, I believe. She said, I'm dirty but not Spanish. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There goes Wendell on his bike. On his bag. I
You
don't
have
know.
no idea how much I love that thing. I absolutely love it. It makes me smile every single time.
Well, Italians are, especially if you go like South Italian, they're probably black. He doesn't look black. He looks like a Greek snuck in there, and then just like his dick in there.
Okay, man. Well, I think I'm gonna stop the stream because I'm getting hungry again. But thanks for
All right.
coming and chit chatting with me. We'll do this again. I'll get some more pinpointed questions for next time. And
Yeah,
then
I
that,
need questions.
yeah, no, I just wanted to pick your brain for now. Just, I'm trying to figure out, like, because you have to start at one end of this gigantic monster and just, like, work your way in, really. So I'm just trying to figure out. I'll probably start with
That's
the
that's
North
what
Korea
most of
angle.
the girls say to me, very
Don't,
specifically.
just don't. All
Of
right.
course.
Bye, everybody.